Hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment of The Real Podcasters, the show where we like to cover all things movies, TV shows, video games, and a bunch of other things in no particular order. My name's Regan as ever, and I'm joined once again by my absolute cave-dwelling rat of a co-host. And he's not having a drink this time, he's learned. It's Dan.
Normally I'd be insulted, but honestly it's just the truth.
It is absolutely, for once, it's not even... Like you say, it's not actually an insult.
It's just the truth.
Exactly.
I would say the truth hurts, but you know, I've known this. Everybody knows this.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody who's met me knows that I just prefer the darkness.
There we go.
Living in exile, away from
Yes,
people.
exactly. Yes. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode. We really do appreciate it. And thank you very much for the support on the Superman review as well. Not only what... I think that one's now the 5th best viewed episode that we've done. It's also my best reviewed review on Letterboxd, so thank you very much for that. That just skyrocketed. Shameless plug over. Let's talk about... Yeah, and Dan's got a review as well. You can read that one if you want. Cross promotion.
Also, I think that is like the highest rated review that I have on Letterboxd.
I think it is as well, and you don't usually
actually no. I tell
nonsense.
A lie. It's actually funny enough the film that we're talking about today.
And just because of that, we're no longer going to talk about it, just to stroke my own ego. No, this time we are talking about the 20th anniversary of The Descent, Neil Marshall's second feature, which is stupid, to be honest. Especially given his more recent output, which is actually stupid, to be honest. We have spoken about his first film, Dog Soldiers, on numerous occasions before. I think, well, we did a commentary a couple of years ago. We might have to find an excuse to talk about it again. But no, we're going to be covering his second feature for its 20th anniversary. And as ever, we will be delving into spoilers a little bit later on. But I feel like if anyone wants to watch this film, they have already seen it. Unless they're very claustrophobic and are scared of critters in a cave, amongst other
just
things.
Been living in a cave.
Or just living in a cave, exactly. So, as ever with our retrospectives, we'll have a brief synopsis from Dan. I cannot wait to hear it. That sounded like pure sarcasm. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I actually can't
it really
wait to read.
Good grief.
I am just on one tonight.
Anyway.
We'll go into our personal history with the movie as well, and our general sort of feelings, a bit on the production, and then, as I say, some more spoilery thoughts and the legacy of said movie. So, Dan, what's going on with this Descent thing?
Well, it turns out one year after a personal tragedy, Sarah partakes in a caving exhibition with a group of friends, but after a rockfall leaves them trapped deep underground, the group must survive the horrors lurking within the cave system.
I believe the term is spelunking, which I'd like to know who came up with that name, because that is such a... It sounds like it's got nothing to do with what they're actually doing. I was originally going
to put partakes in a loitering exhibition in a cave.
Which is exactly the same sort of logic, actually.
Well, yeah, they're pretty much just loitering in a cave.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do it quite often.
Definitely not me. So I can't actually remember when I first saw the movie. I mean, when it came to Dog Soldiers, I saw it way too young. I didn't employ the same sort of logic with The Descent, which is probably a good idea because it would have broken my brain, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it would have been that long ago when I first saw it. I'd always heard really good things about it, and yet I was still absolutely blown away when I finally saw it. It's the kind of movie, I think I said it in my review on Letterboxd, it functions so well as purely just a film about people being stuck in caves. That's terrifying enough. And then Neil Marshall, in his infinite wisdom and being just so kind, thinks, you know what? We can dial it up a little bit more, I think. You couldn't get any more northern.
The dial's about here. I'm going to put it up to here.
Or it's like, right, this dial's on full. I'm going to add a second and a third dial and just ramp them all up as well. And it's one of the most tense movies I think I've ever seen. And especially for only being 93 minutes long, it's as brief as it needs to be. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And this is going to be one of those episodes where I think most of the time we're just going to be gushing over this movie. I do have one or two issues with it, which I'll get into later. I think as a movie, I think this is better than Dog Soldiers. Oof. But because I mean, especially when you see it, it feels more like a conventional film.
And this is coming from like the host, who is the biggest fan of Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, but I do prefer Dog Soldiers. I'd watch Dog Soldiers numerous times a year. I'd probably watch this once a year, but like really space it out. Because as ever with these movies, I tend to deliberately close all the curtains, turn off the lights, and just prepare to be absolutely haunted by the end. Which I can imagine is probably a similar wavelength for you.
To be honest, you're not half wrong, really. I've only ever watched this twice. Once for the first time, and literally just a rewatch. So literally twice. Only ever seen this film twice. Yeah, I'm still in the opinion that Neil Marshall did one of two great films, and it's this and Dog Soldiers. The rest is
terrible.
It's there. It's there. It's not nothing compared to these two, but it's there. You know.
Bloody Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy.
Actually,
and
The Lair was even worse.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started with that thing. Ugh. But yeah, honestly, it's one of these rare films that really had like this impact on me, where I'm kind of like putting my like hand over my mouth because I'm just sort of like really tensing up. Especially the first time I saw the film, I was just mortified, to be honest. I was thinking mortified. It's like bloody I suppose it was like what it was for you with Lake Mungo when you first watched that.
I was telling someone at work about that a couple of days ago, and the look of like fear on her face. I was like, I should stress, I'm telling you the bare minimum. Because if you do want to watch this, which I don't think you will, because you won't, you should go in as blind as possible. But like even me describing my hand just going just like further up my face, and even she just thinking about it was like, no, I'm not going to be doing that. And exactly the same with this movie. She was like, no, I'm not watching this. Forget it.
Like if I were to describe this movie in like a couple of words, it's claustrophobia 101. It's like, good grief, it just makes me like the fear of being trapped in the cave is just horrifying.
Excellent. We'll get into a bit on the production before we delve into a lengthy discussion. So obviously this movie came about after Neil Marshall's success with Dog Soldiers in 2002. It's still very much like a cult sort of movie, unfortunately, but it's still absolutely phenomenal. And it's the kind of movie where there was finally someone at work who actually knew it by name, and even he was like, yeah, it's absolutely, you can't fault that movie at all. And it was very much the case with The Descent as well. It seemed like he wanted to go with a more visceral kind of horror film, one that was a little bit more straightforward, because you look at something like Dog Soldiers, that's a few different genres. This is just pure horror.
Yeah, it's just an all-out psychological horror.
Yes, exactly.
There's not really like any funny quips like there is in Dog Soldiers. It's just pretty much a bleak horror film.
Yeah. And one of the key decisions in the film's development was to feature an all-female cast, which is quite
a rarity.
Yeah, even by today's standards, he very much wanted to subvert the trope of the final girl, which there's never anything inherently wrong with the final girl sort of trope. It's been done better and worse and other things, but what it also allowed us, and I remember reading about Marshall talking about it, is it allows the scenarios that the characters are in to feel very different to what he did with Dog Soldiers. Like, he was talking about how this group would actually talk about what they're going to do in this situation and actually think about it, whereas the group in Dog Soldiers would either just take the piss or would just blow stuff up. And I was like, yeah, you're actually very, very right.
One or two reasons, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously you've got the crawlers as well. Marshall actually went out of his way to give a reason for these things being here, not just let's just throw in a monster. Let's actually have a bit of backstory for these things and how they're actually down here. We'll talk about it later. Obviously, as a cast, you've got Shauna McDonald, Natalie Mendoza, Alex Reed, Saskia Mulder, Mayanna Buring, and Nora-Jane. Terrific cast, to be honest. There's like a wide range of personalities.
Oh, yeah. Each character has their own sort of, character, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. Of course, the cave system. Originally, I think Marshall was actually legitimately considering filming in caves. Again, he's from the north. It makes sense that he would think that's all right. But the entire thing is built in a studio, 21 different sets for us, and you're like...
Good grief.
I think what's great as well is that you can, just to add to the claustrophobia, is that it's so well designed that you never actually know whereabouts in the cave they ever are. So you always...
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it just looks so realistic. You would absolutely think they've just gone into some cave in the middle of the wilderness.
Yes, exactly.
It looks unbelievably realistic.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, like, the sets are absolutely phenomenal, considering that the budget was around £3.5 million as well, and it never feels cheap, but it never feels like so overly expensive. It feels like every penny that they had, they used on set and on camera, which is fantastic.
Yes.
And then, of course, released in 2005, was up against another film of a similar style, The Cave, which I haven't actually seen.
Oh, God, I can enlighten you with that.
Enlighten me, Dan.
Right, so...
Is it terrible?
Basically, it was... Right, well, backstory, they basically think of it as, like, rivalry. So The Descent came out before The Cave did, and ultimately, because The Cave is pretty much parallel with the plot of The Descent, it just got absolutely tarnished, because why would you need to see another Descent film that pretty much tells the same thing? But I think there's like a couple of changes, but there's no memorable characters. The creature, I can't even remember what kind of creature it is. It's definitely not like what it is in The Descent. I think it's actually some... I don't even know why I'm thinking of like a crocodile or something. It could well be a crocodile. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it is absolutely awful. It is just pants.
Fair enough then. Because I had read that Marshall had known that they were making The Cave, so he made efforts to fast track the Descent.
Like...
So they kind of made the Descent much quicker to get it out before The Cave. So that, in a way, probably saved the movie, because I think it might have been a reverse kind of scenario, I think, where maybe The Cave might have been...
I think it probably would have been.
But, yeah. So, released in 2005, everyone adored it, both critics and audiences. To this day, it's still considered one of the best horror films of 2000s.
So it turns out... I've just looked here. It's not a crocodile. I was thinking of some other film. It turns out that it actually is pretty similar to The Descent.
Oh, okay, great.
They are humans who've been mutated by a parasite in the cave.
I prefer the backstory for the Descent ones, funnily enough.
Yeah.
It's far more interesting than just
As I say,
rage
it's
virus.
Absolute pants.
And that's like the nicest word that you can use right now. I can think of
some
other words you want to use. But anyway, now there was obviously 2 endings, which we'll get to a bit later on. But yeah, so let's get into the more spoilery discussion. We'll talk about the group that we've got first. How are you on this group of characters, especially in comparison to something like Dog Soldiers?
I think it's brilliant, to be honest. I mean, you look at Dog Soldiers and you've got this group of army men who have like 1 or 2 reasons, and it's either take the piss out of each other or kill something. Whereas this group has a bit more rationale to them. They actually plan things. They realize the situation. It's like, right, survival first. We're not gonna just shoot things because we're scared. We're actually gonna plan things out. And every character sort of has their own characteristics to them. Like, you get the witty character, you get the really serious character, and then everybody else in between. and it is just horrible what happens to a great deal of them.
Beth, though, Jesus
Christ, that is. Do you know? I think it. I don't know about you, right? But the one tiny issue that I have with this film is that
we have the same issue? I think we might.
I hate the little like cliche of that, like the bestie is like a two-timing bitch.
Oh, okay. It is connected to that in a way, but I'll get to that later.
I just think it's a little bit too cliche. It's like your bestie turned out slept with your husband, and she's a bit of a cow.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little bit too cliche. But I mean, it's still brilliant. Like the character Juno, bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, like, she is like an absolute badass, which makes it even more annoying.
Oh yeah.
But I really like Sarah in this one, especially on rewatch, because I think I was kind of just like along with for it like the first time I'd seen it a couple of years ago, and then rewatching it again for this. I like how, especially her as a character, she's dealt with like a massive amount of trauma in like the first 4 minutes, as someone who's trying to cling on to that little bit of innocence that she used to have. I mean, it opens with her and her friends just having a bit of fun, because they're getting to that point in their life where that's gonna naturally go away, and she's still clinging on to that. And then throwing her in this cave is actually the perfect metaphor for her being trapped within herself, and she can't actually escape, which seems apt given how things end. We'll get to that. But again, like, the movie didn't have to go that hard on trying to draw parallels between characters and setting.
Oh, there's a hell of a lot of interpretation. I mean, I've read some like really like in-depth reviews of this thing, and I'm just thinking, bloody hell, like this could be like a philosophy at this point.
Well, exactly.
Like how the cave system is like a woman and she's trapped within herself. It's like, oh my god, how do people think of this? You're right, but Jesus Christ, how do people think of it?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, they didn't have to try that hard. They could have just done the cave and just made a generic as hell horror. But no, Neil Marshall was actively
and I mean,
trying.
there are plenty of other films like The Cave. There are plenty of them.
Absolutely.
And there is one with a crocodile, actually. It's called Blackwater Abyss.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think, was it... There's something I can think of... Well, yeah, obviously. Naturally. Obviously, one of the biggest things, and one thing that I didn't realise, because obviously I didn't see this in 2005, funnily enough, I would have been 8. There's no way I would have seen it when I was 8 years old. Apparently the marketing did a really good job of hiding the existence of the crawlers, which I thought, that's why the film works so well, is because they don't turn up...
Well, yeah, if you don't reveal the monster, like, at all until you watch the film, then you've pulled something great off.
But I think as well, because, like I
imagine if they did a Godzilla film. Well, it wouldn't really work with a Godzilla film if a Godzilla film, but you didn't show Godzilla. We're not going to... You just sort of hint at the fact it's Godzilla.
Certain people will say there is a movie that does that. It doesn't. They're talking bullshit. 2014 Godzilla.
Are they referring... Yeah.
Where it doesn't.
Yeah, that one.
It works for that, but we're not talking about that one. But I think because most people would have gone in not knowing about the existence of the creatures, it works so well just as its own movie without the crawlers in it. Like, it very much enhances it, but it still works without it. So the fact that for a 93-minute movie and the creatures don't actually properly emerge until 55 minutes in is...
Yeah, it's only really till the last sort of chunk of the film where... They make an appearance.
Yeah,
a scary appearance.
Most other movies would, pardon the French, they would blow their metaphorical load and bring the creatures in way quicker. There you go, he's gone. I'm not wrong though, am I?
No, you're not. They just get far too excited.
They get so excited
straight away.
They're just like, friends? Friends!
Like, God, I just can't wait to put the villain in. Please, I can't hold it any longer. But yeah,
Turn the pork away.
you know, it kind of shows, and it just doesn't work, does it?
No. So with the design of the crawlers, which are just really just horrifying to look at, I appreciate Marshall coming up with the idea that all the crawlers are like this isolated community of miners that have been trapped over the last many years because no one really knows about this cave system, and so they have very much evolved to live perfectly in the landscape. They will go out in the night and bring people back into the caves, but I really appreciate that attention to detail. Like you have the group finding really old mining equipment and stuff like that, and you're like,
Yeah,
there's more to it
because they
than
could have
that.
absolutely just done them without any backstory, and then you're just like, well, they're just monsters.
It could have been a parasite, much like with the cave, as it turns out.
Good.
And like I said, the fact you get like a really far away look at one about 50 minutes in, and then it's about 55 minutes when you get the night vision shot.
That scene, Jesus, when I first saw that, it had me on edge. Like, it is just an absolute masterpiece of a scene. It is just terrifying.
It's just
beyond
that
belief,
it's
where
like
you just get the side shot of Sarah just like trying not to breathe, and the creature is literally like in front of the camera.
oh,
It
that
is
one as well.
horrifying.
Yeah, that one, like, we'll not talk too much about the sequel because we shouldn't, because it's terrible. But even that one completely screws up the crawlers in that one. And I think also can make them see. And I was like, dude, how have they evolved in mere days?
So
Now
they've evolved to be
there is a
blind.
parasite.
They've evolved to be blind and use the blindness to, you know, the best of their ability, but now they've evolved again and are not blind. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, for that like entirety of like the 35 to 40 minutes, where now it's not just trying to get out of the caves, it's also avoid every single one of these absolute freaks. And it's like all of a sudden there's just like no scenario where everyone's making it out. It's very much like it's like a Rogue One scenario where it's like, right, if one of these characters makes it out at the end, I'm gonna call bullshit. Actually, which is, it's a mark for a good movie where it's like, I would like one of them to survive, but I do not envision any one of them actually making it out, even if some of them can actually take these things out quite efficiently. Juno bringing in like her inner Tomb Raider, which is absolutely laying into these things with.
I'm sure Sam does the same.
pickaxe.
Like she knows she's screwed, and as she's, you know, I think she gets like her throat slashed as she's dangling from a cave, and just takes that opportunity while she's still got a tiny bit of life in her to just shank the crap out of one of the crawlers.
And like I say, going back to the caves, I mean, like I say, without the crawlers, the movie still works so well because there's just so much claustrophobia.
Well, there's just so much horror. Like, I think everybody has a fear of being confined in a cave and there's no way out.
I remember reading somewhere, I can't remember what, just because it's just suddenly reminders of someone who got trapped in a cave but actually got stuck upside down, I think.
Oh god.
Or rather not not necessarily upside down, but like stuck in a system where yes. I think you probably know exactly which one that one is, and I was like, that is, I mean,
horrifying.
There's possibly worse ways to go, but right now I can't think of any other one, to be honest. That's just pure evil, frankly.
Yeah. I'd just want taken out if that ever happened to me. Like, just do it.
And I appreciate as well with the lighting in this movie, because it never looks like a movie. Like, if it's dark as hell, it's because the characters can see basically nothing. So you get like the few bits of respite when you have like the red flare going off, which even then still
the
makes
flare
it
stuff
terrifying because you still
absolutely
can't see it.
fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Because it doesn't really like brighten things up for them.
Mm-hmm.
It just sort of shows, oh yeah, this is really dark, by the way.
And it's after they have the first proper encounter with one of the crawlers, and it's like the entire group, or what's left of the entire group, like in one corner, and Juno's got the flare, and the camera just like pans around them as you can just hear the crawlers in different parts of the audio, which is just so good. Like, it's so good.
I'm sure they do a very similar bit when the first of the group gets, well, a fate worse than death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's Holly, and you just hear like the clicking and all the weird noises from like every corner, and you're just like, where the hell is it? And then all of a sudden it just pounces on it and just tears it to shreds.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of, I mean, what's your favourite moments from the movie? I mean, there's probably quite a few deaths that are involved in this.
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, I mean, mentioned before, the night vision scene with the video camera, that is just terrifying. You see, like, all the skulls and bones, and then all of a sudden there's a crawler right in front of your face, and you dare not breathe. I'd probably say when you sort of realise that Juno isn't who exactly you think she is, where she accidentally, in sort of quotation marks, throws a bloody ice pick into Beth's throat. Oh, that bit was just like, oh my god, what the hell, man. And when Sarah finds her later on, and it turns out that Juno had actually been having an affair because Beth ripped the trinket that her husband gave her off. So I thought that was a pretty weird. And do you know what it is? I mean, like, Sarah's transformation is gone from this sort of like trauma victim to all-out survivor, because Jesus, she just when she just emerges, and I'm pretty sure it's just her and Juno left, and she's just drenched in blood with this just sort of resting face in.
I was getting like a Carrie sort of vibe at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah. But Jesus, I mean, there's a lot of great scenes, but I think sort of the death scenes as well, like, brutal as hell. And just like the bit where they're having to like cross using this like grapple thingy. I don't know. I'm not a friggin' bloody outdoorsman. I don't go outside. I'm like a crawler. I don't go outside. I only go outside when I need to be.
We know, Dan. We know.
And you just see how like confined it is, and you just think, oh my god, like I just no, no to the cave. No, go home. Go play Pictionary or something.
That's very specific.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just go back to the cabin and play Pictionary. Come on.
Yeah. What's actually interesting as I'm thinking about it, because my only issue with the movie is something that I'm actually going to remove, because you have actually given me better context, and that is with because I didn't actually realise, because I've just checked, you know, because I wanted to make sure you weren't lying. Was the whole extra subplot of Juno and the affair. I never realised that. So my issue with the movie was actually why there was so much animosity with Sarah realising that Juno had killed Beth, because we know it's purely accidental, but they're almost treating it like something else entirely. Like, I can understand the anger, but at the same time, for me, I took that as an accident. But now with this, it's like, right, I now have an extra excuse to leave you alone. I was like, yeah, so actually, I will remove that nitpick, because that actually is like, all of a sudden, you've actually fixed the movie. It's now 98, 99%.
Yeah, it's that entire sequence, it just sort of opens like, oh my god, it's like, is Juno like gonna just attempt to leave Sarah now? Like, yeah, like, oh my god, I just want her to find her and just kill her, please. I think even when Sarah confronts her, and that bit with the axe in the leg, ooh,
cruel, frankly.
Who is it that bloody Well, again, I think this is sort of quite early on in the film where they have to like gurney. I can't remember who it is. Somebody basically falls and they smash their leg, and it's like, oh, I've just got to cut it. No, your bone's hanging out.
Yeah.
And they like gurney her leg up with again the axe. So it's quite symbolic, actually. The axe. Now thinking about it,
Well,
it makes its rounds.
yeah. But then once again, I feel like that this is the nice difference between this group and the dog soldiers group, where they use super glue to just put the intestines in. These guys are like, no, we'll actually do this a bit more clever, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll actually, like, do something that's probably going to keep you alive. Super glue. No, maybe not.
Let's just say that if these movies were swapped, and The Descent was with the soldiers, it would be a short film. They wouldn't make it very far, I think.
They'd probably just, you know what it is? It wouldn't even be like an accidental rockfall. They would have done the rockfall themselves. They would have
Avalanche.
shot something and caused the rockfall.
Yes, exactly. In terms of my other favourite
And
bits...
there'd be a hell of a lot more swearing.
Yes, absolutely. In terms of my other favourite bits in the movie, I mean, I said about the opening scene before, I would set up these characters so well. The photo that they take, and just the fade to black and white, and then just fades away, and you're like, right, this is the last time these characters are ever going to be smiling, isn't it? We're never going to see them this happy again.
Yeah, I really like the subtlety behind that.
Scaling the ceiling, like just like you referenced as well. The
Yeah.
first scenes with the crawler, Juno killing Beth still takes me off guard every single time it happens.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because again,
'Cause, I mean, she does do it accidentally, but then, like, you're kind of, like, questioning if it's accidental.
yeah, because there is that brief moment where it's like, because when you have that moment of killing the first crawler, and it's like, she's almost like riding a high a little bit of like, oh, this actually, I feel really good after killing this thing. So she's still on edge as soon as she turns around, and she just hears just like a little clutter of rocks falling away. It's like, oh no, actually, it's not actually a monster. Which
Yeah.
just makes it even more tragic. You said before about Sarah's change as well from beginning to end. It's like, it feels like a completely different character, but in the nicest way.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's her essentially just accepting, like, I can't be who I usually am in order to deal with this situation. And like I say, almost being like Carrie with coming out of the blood pond, as I've affectionately called
Yeah,
it.
that's probably the easiest way to describe what it is, isn't it? The blood pond.
Yeah.
The blood ravine.
The other one as well that I do love, and this connects up to what I said we talked about earlier on, is the ending. So, for those who know the movie well, there is two versions of the ending. There is the proper ending.
The UK version.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, as we have to call it, the canon ending. Because we got a sequel, which is garbage. So, in the canon ending, Sarah gets out. She escapes the cave and
Yes.
buggers off.
But it's sort of ambiguous as
Yeah.
to whether she's escaped.
Whereas the proper ending, as I'm still calling it, even though proper would consider it to be canon, it's not anymore, is she still gets out, but then realises that she's actually hallucinating and she's still in the cave.
In the cave.
And across the movie, you see her having sort of like hallucinations of a daughter.
A daughter with the cake, isn't it? Like
Yes.
the little birthday cake thing? Yeah.
And then the very last moments of the film is her having that hallucination again, and her essentially just accepting her fate, that she's not actually going to get out. So obviously the American audiences hated this ending and were like, well, can you make it a bit happier? And it's like, why?
Well, no, because it goes with it. It's consistent. This is a bleak film. Why would you do this?
Exactly. It screams Hollywood.
It's literally well, yeah, it does. It's literally it kind of goes back to what you're saying. Like, the cave is like a metaphor for being trapped inside of self, and it's almost like it's emphasizing that the trauma can't be escaped.
Yeah, which is an interesting way to take it, because the more conventional thing to do would be having her get out. Which, to be honest, I wouldn't hate as an ending, but because we got a sequel that did not need to exist, it makes that one even worse. I think that's the problem. Like, if I had never seen Descent 2, I probably wouldn't mind. Even if, like I said before, realistically, no one's getting out of this in one piece, especially when they make a point of referencing the fact that these creatures do go outside. It's not like they're trapped as well. They've just been used to living, like, in the caves. They can't actually leave.
They know all the nooks and crevices.
Exactly. I really like the cave painting thing. I actually think that's a really clever idea.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Again, it's a very clever movie. It's not really, really stupid, which is something that his movies are now. That's exactly what they are, reckoning.
Yeah, we haven't really, you know. Well, just like 90-something% of most modern horror films now. Just tripe.
And it says a lot where this movie can still be considered 20 years on one of the finest
and it's still
horrors
like
ever.
Probably the best horror film out of 2005. I wouldn't know because I've only really seen like a couple.
But it's easily just one of the finest, full stop. Though I am glad that I didn't see it when I was a kid, because it probably would have traumatized me enough that I'd probably not want to watch it. Because, it
traumatized me when I first watched it, so God only knows what would happen if I was a kid and watched it.
Well, exactly, and it just goes to show, like, especially when we were talking about Dog Soldiers, it's even more tragic, the fact that Neil hasn't really been able to sort of
replicate that mastery.
Yeah, which on the one hand, I wouldn't want him to just be stuck in horror the entire time, because I think even he said he was a bit iffy on doing even this movie because he didn't want to be typecast as a horror director, which is why he did Doomsday and Centurion afterwards, which are more action-y sort of stuff, which I haven't seen those, to be completely honest. And then having like 10 years of doing TV, I'm
sure he did like bloody a couple episodes of Game of Thrones.
He did. Ones that actually won Emmys. So, it's not like he can't do it. It's just a question of, would he want to do something similar? I know there was something he was saying recently when the conversation came up. I know we're going on a bit of a tangent, but he was consistently asked for years, would they ever do a sequel to Dog Soldiers? And it was this close to actually happening. This close. Because he doesn't actually own the rights to that movie. It's with like an American producer, and they basically essentially decided to be the really crappy ex-boyfriend,
the crappy kind of,
that's basically the easiest way to put it. Yeah. So he said, "Well, that's fine because I can just take that script and do something different." So I think it was going to be like Werewolves of London or something, which. I love Dog Soldiers. It doesn't need a sequel, to be honest. There's no scenario where that's even worth it.
I can't really think of what they do in a sequel. Like, you can't really...
Bigger werewolves.
Yeah.
Somehow even taller. Werewolf. Bigger stilts. It's actually just going to be set in and around
It's just going to be set in the forest with those massive trees, and they're just going to call it were trees.
Were trees. Tree wolves.
Yeah, were trees. Tree wolves.
Yes. Once a month, men turn into trees.
Tree wolves, the Oakening.
Wrapping things up because Dan's losing the plot now.
Oh yeah, he's just making tree puns now.
Yeah, he is. But as we wrap things up, I think we've covered basically everything we'd want to say. Is there anything else you want to add to The Descent?
I think we've touched it, but yeah, the sound design is absolutely impeccable.
Oh yes, absolutely,
brilliant. Like Christ, it gives like a Quiet Place kind of soundscape.
I haven't seen
like where you just hear everything.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch it.
Which is really ironic because it's a film that's very quiet.
Yeah, that's just how it works, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, let's wrap things up on The Descent. Like I say, this is easily one of the best horror movies, full stop. I obviously highly implore everyone to watch it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, if you're gonna watch a horror film, watch
this one.
Yeah. And watch Dog Soldiers as well.
Yes, and watch that one. We need more people watching it.
We do. The cult must grow.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, like, I know I said recently when we covered Back to the Future that I think I labelled that to be my favourite movie. I mean, Dog Soldiers is still in the top 3 or 4, just by default. But, just so many good movies. It's just nice talking about good stuff. Which is what we're going to do for the next episode. So I've already sprung this information onto Dan before we started recording, because I thought I would be kind, because I figured he would just...
Sprung it on me like a mechanical shark.
Exactly, yes. Because for some reason, well, I say for some reason, we just haven't had the chance to actually cover it yet. We will be discussing...
Which is just heresy, to be honest.
I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. We will be covering Jaws for its 50th anniversary. I think the reason I paused it, was because I couldn't remember if we'd spoken about it on your horror podcast a couple of years ago. I can't remember if we covered Jaws.
I don't think we talked about it as an episode. It was just sort of in passing.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to discuss in length for this one. I mean, I know we've already missed the actual anniversary, which we did for The Descent as well, and Back to the Future, and Arkham Knight, and Jurassic World, and The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay,
but
just
not
stop
Bride
now,
of Frankenstein.
Okay.
We actually got that one. That was back in...
Oh, we nailed that one, yeah.
In April. 2 months ago. No, 3 months ago. Yes, anyway. We'll be back very soon with a review of Jaws. So we'll see you then. And until then, it is goodbye from Dan.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.